Hello, fellow residents of Tamriel. It is the Beeve, and we're doing a nice little live video here. I know probably many people won't come in. It's not like we have a bunch of subscribers by any means, but doing this in hopes that anybody that is interested in, talking about the new dungeon sets. Oh, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Just trying to turn on the chat just in case anyone did jump in and wanted to ask questions about the new dungeon sets or whatnot, and I was on full blast audio right there. Sorry about that. Audio right there. Sorry about that. So I want to go over some of the new dungeon sets and some of the new monster helms. I wanted to show you one in particular. We'll wait and show that one to you at the end last, because it's really cool, honestly. And if you do happen to jump in and you have questions, feel free to shoot the question over to me, and I'll try to answer any questions that come across, if any do. We have 42 subscribers, so it's not like we have a ton of people. But if anyone picks up on this and is looking for, looking to ask questions, I will do my best to help you out. Now, let's start with the light armor sets from the new dungeons. Okay, first off, we have Heaty's Hearth, or Heity's Hearth. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not an English scholar, so so this set is found in Ice Reach. This is a light armor set that does 129 magic recovery, 129 magic recovery, 1096 maximum magicka. And when you heal yourself or an ally with an ability, gain a warming aura for 10 seconds. While in the warming aura, your group members restore 1020 health every 1 second and reduce the cost of sprint, block, and roll dodge by 5%. This effect can occur once every 12 seconds. This is a set that's coming out of a DLC dungeon that is not very good, in my opinion. There's very little tooltip to this. Yes, I mean, this is a healer set, so you are getting a lot of recovery. That's good for a healer. You get maximum magicka one time, and then you get a 1,000 point heal per second over 10 seconds. It's not a very strong heal. The reduced cost of sprint and roll dodge and block is... I don't find that myself to be very important, to be honest with you. So, this set right here, I don't see this being used by very many people. There's not a whole lot of tooltip to it, and there's not a whole lot of extra healing coming from it. There are much better sets that can be farmed, and this is just probably going to go by the wayside. Now, keep in mind as well, this is week 1 of the public test server. Things could change, and if they do, we'll go over them again. But for right now, that set's kind of poop, in my opinion. The other light armor set that is found in Unhallowed Grave is Draugr Grip. This particular set is 1096 maximum magicka, 1487 spell penetration, 129 magicka recovery. Got a little bit of tooltip there. That's nice. You got the penetration and you got the max magicka. Magicka recovery is kind of cool too. Dealing direct damage to an enemy has a 10% chance to place a ghostly curse on your enemy for 6 seconds. Cursed enemies take 530 extra damage from all of your damage abilities. This effect can occur once every 6 seconds. That's kind of cool sounding. It really is. It's got a very low proc chance on it, only 10%. and it's on direct damage. So if you are an AoE type of lightning staff AoE type of Mage tune, this probably isn't going to do you much good, to be completely honest with you. I don't know how good it's going to do with people that do a lot of direct damage to begin with as well, with such a low proc chance. The cursed enemy thing, taking 530 more extra damage, is really cool from all of your abilities. You do have the opportunity for it to stay up 100% of the time, but when it's a direct damage that you have to be dealing on a 10% chance, could have a very small uptime to it. Not nearly enough to be viable, in my opinion, maybe. I mean, I'll have no problems testing it out, but I think that one may go by the wayside, just like Hearthier will. If they, during PTS, if they change this to just dealing damage, does a 10% chance, you'd have a better uptime on it, and give your AoE lightning staff people a chance to actually wear this and proc it. And I think this could be a better set if it wasn't direct damage. I think you'd get better procs on it if it was just regular damage, but that direct damage with only that 10% gives that a really, I don't know, you could have a bad uptime on it, in my opinion. But it is what it is, so those are the two light armors. To go over, there is a medium armor, two medium armors. We're going to go over one first. You know what? Let's do this. Yeah. No, wait a minute. Some of them I took out, some of them I didn't. I apologize. Let me find the right one here. Okay, so here is one of your medium armor sets, Titanborn Strength. This comes from Ice Reach. This is 1487 physical penetration, 129 weapon damage, 1096 maximum stamina, and then adds 110 weapon damage and 1240 physical penetration. So that's pretty cool. The bonus doubles when you are at 75% health or lower, so it goes to 220 and 2480. And if you're below 50% health, it quadruples to 440 and 4960. I don't see this being used in PvE a whole lot, but this is definitely a PvP type of setup right here, especially for Nightblades. If you have the ability to use like Equilibrium or that Mage's Guild ability that allows you to lower your own health to give yourself Magicka back, you could use something like that while in stealth as a Nightblade and get your health down below 50%, and then do a teleport strike from stealth and just have all kinds of weapon damage and physical penetration on it. I don't know if it'll work that way. I don't know if you're able to do all those things, but I see this being a PvP set more than I do a PvE set. So, by all means, add your own thoughts and comments into that as well, but I think you'll just see this in PvP more than anything else. Alright, so now we have... I'm going to skip the other medium armor set. I'm going to save that one for last, because that one's kind of cool and I want to go over it a little bit more in depth. So, where is our first heavy dungeon set? Is it still in here? Did I take it out? Yeah, it's out here. Okay, so here's one. Grave Guardian. This particular one is found in Unhallowed Grave. It's 1096 maximum stamina. Pardon me. 1206 maximum health, 1206 maximum health, and summon a stone aura while blocking, hardening you and your nearby group members, increasing your physical and spell resistances by 4430. That, to me, is situationally good. In trials and hard DLC dungeons with very seasoned players, you're not going to see tanks wearing this. I myself, situationally, me and my wife, the Flower, we tend to run with lower level people and people that don't understand combat, trying to teach people and trying to help people get through harder content so they can get the helms and the gears that they need. In that situation, I would like to have this on my tank. If I can provide more physical and spell resistance for those lower CP characters that we sometimes run with, trying to help them out, if we're able to keep them alive because we are granting them better resistances, then they're learning more. They're not just spending time dead on the ground. They're getting a chance to participate in the fight, learning how to rotate through the fight, learning how to do your rotation through the fight, and it in turn helps create a better player that can run with you later on as well. So in a situation like that, I think I would wear this just to give a little bit of group utility to some of the lower level characters or people that we are trying to teach the ropes to, so to speak. So situationally, to me, that's a good set. There is also Bonnie's Torment, I think that's the name of this one. This is from Ice Reach. 4% healing taking, or take in, 1206 maximum health, 1096 maximum health, and when you taunt a nearby enemy, you tether to them for 5 seconds. While tethered, you apply Major Maim to your enemy, reducing their damage done by 30%, and you gain Major Vitality, increasing your healing taken by 30%. The tether is broken if the enemy moves 8 meters away from you, and this effect can occur once every 14 seconds. I like the idea behind this set, but I don't really see it being used that much, mainly because of the 9-second cooldown on it. If that cooldown, if it could happen every 8 seconds or maybe every 10 seconds, I think you'd see more people use it, but 14-second cooldown, that may not get used that often. For me, I don't know if it would be worth it, honestly. It could be. It really could be. But I don't see too many people ditching a set that they already have because ditching a set they would already use for this. I don't know. It seems okay to me. Lower that cooldown time to 8 or 10 seconds, and you might see people that would be very interested in wearing it more often. But I don't know, to be honest with you. But regardless, it's not a terrible set. So let's move on to our monster helms. We have, I'm going to murder this pronunciation. I'm going to call it Jalnar's Nightmare because I'm going to assume that K is silent. 129 spell damage, and dealing damage with a light attack puts a stack of bone on your enemy for 5 seconds. You can only apply 1 stack every 1 second. At 5 stacks, an undodgeable skeletal hand attacks your enemy after 1 second, knocking them into the air and stunning them for 3 seconds, or dealing 18,125 magic damage if they cannot be stunned. An enemy that has reached 5 stacks cannot gain bone stacks for 3 seconds. This is a monster helm for completing veteran unhallowed grave. This seems pretty cool. Now it is a stack every 1 second, not a stack every light attack. If you're really good at rotating, you can pull off more than 1 light attack per second. So you might find yourself actually doing like 7 or 8 light attacks before that actually goes off. So keep that in mind. It's a stack every 1 second. If you're rotating very well, you're not getting it every light attack, you're getting it every second of light attacking. So now the damage that comes from it is pretty darn good. I have tested this on the test servers with my Sork, and it hit really close to Zon. It was about 2k 2K to 3K less on the trial dummy than Zon, so it wasn't too far off from using Zon, so that was kind of cool. I was surprised to see that. On your dungeon bosses, it's always going to do the damage because you can't knock them back or stun them. In trash mobs, you're going to knock things back and stun them. I have a feeling this may get nerfed, though, because this is the type of thing that the PvP players get really butthurt about because of, the knocking back and stunning isn't a big deal because it's going to, they're going to be able to break free from that. They're going to have to CC control themselves, or CC control immunity themselves. But that instant damage, it really gets under the skin of a lot of PvP players. So you may see this turn into a damage over time, much like the Marsalok change to recently. So might have some PvPers that are not going to be happy about how much damage that does just instantly. Other than that, really cool monster helm in my opinion. It's something you could use if you would like. If you like the aspect of, being at range and not have to be in real close for your Zon to proc, this is a good monster helm for that. Plus, it does add some spell damage, so that's cool. Mother's Cyanate? I don't know. I told you I'm not a scholar. My bad, sorry. Alright, so this one is Maximum Magicka, and while in combat, casting an ability with a cast time or channeling an ability grants you a damage shield that absorbs 3,000 damage for 10 seconds. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. This is poo. This is garbage. Anybody that looks at that and thinks that's awesome, let me direct you to this right here. This is Ice Heart. This is when you deal critical damage, you have a 20% chance to gain a damage shield that absorbs 8,600 damage for 6 seconds and does 1,047 damage while the shield persists, while the shield holds. And it can occur once every 6 seconds off of just dealing critical damage, not direct damage or anything, just critical damage. This right here is, while you're in combat, you could just casting something with a cast time or channel ability gives you that damage shield. I guess that's kind of, it's an easier proc situation, but it's a much smaller shield, 3K, very small shield, and has a 10-second cooldown on it. 3K is going to get wiped off you in hard veteran content almost instantly. This is a poop set. They need to change this. This needs to change before the PTS is over with, because 30,000 damage or 3,000 damage shield is not a good damage shield, plain and simple. This is going to be a hard veteran DLC dungeon, and it's going to be a helm that is inferior to a dungeon that is a base game dungeon that is fairly simple even on hard mode. So I expect to see this changed. Now, the last set that I want to go over is the set that I'm actually wearing on my Stam Necro right now. The Aegis Collar. This is a really cool set, honestly. 129 weapon damage, 129 stamina recovery, 129 weapon damage. When you deal critical damage with a melee ability, summon a Lesser Aegis for 12 seconds. After 2.5 seconds, the Lesser Aegis spins its blades, dealing 7222 bleed damage every 1 second. 7222 bleed damage every 1 second. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. This is this is pretty nice set right here. Let me do a comparison here for you. Okay, so normally I would be wearing Locistes with Reliquin And right now I have the Reliquin with the Aegis collar on. Okay, so let's check out the differences here. Two piece on both is 129 weapon damage. The three piece on the Locistes is a Minor Slayer, which that was being wasted by me in the first place anyway, because I was wearing Reliquins as well, which also provides Minor Slayer. So you're looking at Minor Slayer twice, but it doesn't stack. So that third piece bonus on the Locistes was kind of being wasted. Third piece bonus on here is 129 stamina recovery. That's that was nice to see right there, because I used to use the Storm Fist from Tempest Island, mainly because it did do good damage, but it also provided 129 stamina recovery. Since we don't need that stamina recovery anymore, I was able to put on like the Selene that I have on now, or I could put on my what is her name? Veladrith. There it is. For God's sakes, I couldn't think. I could put on Veladrith or Selene right here, and I'm still have the same stamina recovery that I had when I was wearing Locistes with the Storm Fist. Four piece on both is 129 weapon damage on both of them. Now, on the perfected version of Locistes, you get an 833 weapon critical. On the non-perfected, you don't have that 833 weapon critical. So, literally the only thing, in my opinion, you're losing out by changing these out with is the weapon critical. If you have the perfected versions, the 5-piece on both of them, Locistes gives you the Major Slayer for 15 seconds. If you have a good synergy laden group, you are getting a lot of synergies. You can keep that up 100% of the time. It's a lot of good damage. Now, with the Aegis Collar, when you deal critical damage with a melee ability, which you do very easily, especially with this build, my crit rating is only in 34%, and I can get this Aegis out all the time. When you deal critical damage with a melee ability, summon a lesser Aegis for 12 seconds. After 2.5 seconds, yeah, we've been through this. Why am I repeating myself? I'm sorry. But that is, when I've tested this, there were some rotations where he wouldn't come up for a second or two, and there were some rotations, I kid you not, the second he fell, he came right back up because I had hit with a melee damage ability. So you get a really good uptime on this, and when he does come out, he does that bleed damage. It's very similar to Reliquins in the amount of damage it does. When you look at them, tit for tat on like combat metrics, they're really close to how much damage they do between Reliquins and this Aegis. So that's really cool to me. And the Aegis isn't single target. It's a very large AoE area that this happens in. Let me show you. Watch this. So let me go over here. Let me get this guy procced. There he comes. Now watch this. Look how big that area is. See that area? Everything inside that's taking that bleed damage. Look how long that lasts for. Is that crazy or what? Honestly, that is absolutely crazy. Now, this with these two put together, they do really good amounts of damage. Let's. This will only take me a minute, so hold tight and watch this. There, he's out already. And I hate how laggy these servers are. See, it took him an extra second to come out right there that time, but he's still out and he's doing damage. Alright, so there was the parse on that. 46,053. That is killer damage on that 3 mil dummy. 46,000. Yeah, take into consideration there was no debuffs on that target dummy either. There was no major fracture, no minor fracture. I wasn't getting combat prayer or any minor or major courage. There was no all kosh applied. So you can imagine how much that damage is going to increase when you have things like that going off on it as well. So just boatloads of damage from this. I think it is for somebody that wants to, somebody that has trouble getting Locistes, or, doesn't have the perfected version of Locistes, or, a lot of times if you're running like the Maelstrom bow like I am, you can only hit synergies on that back bar, and sometimes when you're on that front bar, you see that synergy, you don't think, and you hit that synergy, and then you can't hit it again for 20 seconds, and that's now a huge downtime on the Major Slayer. So, I mean, situationally, this can be a better set. Even if you don't like running trials, this is a better set. There's not a perfected version of it that you have to worry about going into a vet dungeon to get. You can go farm this stuff in the normal dungeon and just improve it, and it be just as good as if you got it out of the veteran dungeon. So, for people that, have Reliquins and don't have Locistes, or hasn't gotten the chance to have Locistes, or doesn't like doing the trials, this is a wonderful set for you. Or if you've been wanting Reliquins and you don't have it yet, you could use that in place of Reliquins even, because it has like the same type of effect to it as Reliquin does. Let's look at combat metrics here. Okay, so my ideal Arms of Reliquin was in second place. It did 4982. Is that what that says? I sit far away from my TV and my eyes are terrible. So 4900 on that. And then my Aegis collar was, what's that? 4300. So like very similar damage outputs between these two sets. And putting them together like this is very damaging. Now, I have a feeling that this could get nerfed. Although Reliquins has never been nerfed, and it's very similar to Reliquins, but I don't know if... I have a feeling you may see that change. Maybe they'll change the uptime on it, maybe they will change how much damage it does, or maybe they won't change it at all. I mean, it's ZOS. Sometimes they just don't do that stuff. So this is week 1 of the public test servers, and this could change over time. But if it does not, that is a really good setup right there. I kind of hope they don't, because I'd like to farm it and have it for certain trials. Because like if you are running like a Vet Hellraw Citadel hard mode, and you get to that last boss, a lot of groups that you're in don't want you to hit synergies, because you could accidentally wipe the group if you're stoned as you're hitting that synergy. Or if you have a habit of hitting that synergy, you're going to see it pop up, hit it, and then wipe your group. So a lot of these groups that you get in just ask you not to hit synergies when you get to the final boss on Hellraw Citadel. This is a great set that you could wear. See that, because on that last boss, if you're not hitting synergies and you have Locistes on, you're losing out on that Major Slayer, where you could throw this on at that last boss and still be doing really good damage and not sacrificing at that point. Now, that's situational. Not every trial or dungeon is like that. But that's just trying what I'm trying to get at right there. But I think that is really all I need to go over there, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this. We did have a couple people jump into the jump into the video. Nobody left any questions or anything. If you do have questions, feel free to answer. Feel free to ask them. I'll answer them as quickly as I possibly can. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you very much for tuning in and checking out the video. If you haven't already done so, hit the like button on the video and hit the subscribe if you would, and that would be super wonderful. I would appreciate that greatly. But thank you guys very much for everything you do and for tuning in, and happy adventuring.